She looks like she fell asleep just yesterday, but she has been dead for over 500 years. In September 1995, an American archaeologist named Johann Reinhard was climbing Mount Ampato, a massive 20,000-foot volcano in Peru. A nearby volcano had been erupting, and its hot volcanic ash blew onto Ampato, melting away centuries of heavy snow. Here into a deep ridge near the summit, Reinhard and his partner spotted a bundle of colorful textiles that had collapsed down an ice gully. When they got closer, they realized they weren't just looking at ancient fabric. They were looking at a teenage girl, sitting cross-legged, perfectly preserved by the freezing mountain air. But her discovery kicked off a terrifying race against time. Because the ice had melted, the mummy was now exposed to the blistering sun and decaying rapidly. Knowing they had hours to save her, the archaeologists strapped the 90-pound frozen bundle to their backs and began a grueling, treacherous descent down the freezing mountain in total darkness. They successfully brought her to a museum lab in Arequipa. They named her Juanita. Unlike Egyptian mummies, which were artificially dried out using chemicals, Juanita was a natural ice mummy. Her skin, internal organs, blood, and stomach contents were completely frozen intact, providing science with a flawless window into the ancient past. For years, historians assumed these mountain children simply fell asleep and succumbed to the freezing cold. But when medical teams finally ran Juanita's fragile body through a high-resolution CT scan, the monitor screen revealed a dark, violent truth. The radiologist noted an immediate anomaly. A severe 2-inch fracture in Juanita's skull right above her right eye. The blow was so violent, it caused massive internal bleeding, displacing her brain. This wasn't an accidental death from exposure. It was a cold-blooded execution. Juanita was a victim of Capacocha, one of the most sacred and terrifying rituals of the Inca Empire. When cataclysmic events occurred, like volcanic eruptions or extreme droughts, the Inca sacrificed their most physically perfect children, believing they would transcend into gods to protect their people. But how did they get a 14-year-old girl to walk up a freezing 20,000-foot volcano to face her own death? To find out, scientists extracted DNA from her long black hair. By analyzing the chemical layers of her hair growth month by month, they mapped out her tragic final year alive. The data showed that exactly 1 year before her sacrifice, Juanita's diet abruptly changed to elite food. More shockingly, she was systematically drugged. Priests forced her to consume massive quantities of coca leaves, the raw base of cocaine, and heavy amounts of chicha, a potent, mind-altering alcoholic brew. In her final weeks, the dosage of drugs was dramatically spiked. Juanita was kept in a constant, heavily sedated, hallucinogenic stupor. Suffering from severe altitude sickness, lacking oxygen, and completely detached from reality, she was marched for hundreds of miles from the capital of Cusco, all the way up to the freezing summit of Mount Ampato. Once at the peak, she was knelt down in the mud. Blinded by drugs and the high-altitude glare, She likely never saw the wooden club swing toward her skull. A single blow ended her life, and she was buried instantly alongside gold and silver statues, left to freeze in time for 5 centuries. For nearly 30 years, the world only knew her as a frozen artifact. But recently, a groundbreaking collaboration between Peruvian and Polish scientists changed everything. Using her CT scans, skull measurements, and DNA profiles, world-renowned forensic artists spent over 400 hours building a stunning, hyper-realistic 3D reconstruction of her face. For the first time in half a millennium, we can look past the ice and see Juanita exactly as she looked the day she was chosen. A normal 14-year-old teenager whose life became a bargaining chip for an empire. Today, she rests in a highly advanced, vacuum-sealed glass chamber kept at -20 degrees Celsius. When you look at her face, do you see a holy ambassador honored by her people, or a tragic crime hidden by history? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.